I went shopping at a small local bookstore, which was super nice. So my husband got his braces taken off, and instead of just waiting in the waiting room, because it was going to take at least an hour, it ended up taking like 2.5, but I only got like an hour and a half of shopping done because he texted me too early being like, hey, I think we're wrapping up. I'm like, awesome, I'll come and get you. But then I ended up reading, so that's totally fine. But while he was doing that, I went to a bookstore. My original plan was to go to Barnes & Noble because that was like, there's one in town and we don't live in a town with a bookstore at all. So that kind of stinks. Anyways, then I looked online and there was actually a new used bookstore. Like they sell new and used books. There we go. And it was closer by than the Barnes & Noble. So I was like, oh, I'll just go here. So I'll have more time. So I did. And these are the things that I bought. So I ended up getting 5 books, which is always really good. And starting off strong, I got Dune by Frank Herbert, and this is actually my mom's favorite sci-fi book, and we watched it in theaters, and it was really kind of fun because earlier that morning I actually watched part 1 because I still haven't watched it at that point, and so then I was able to finish it, and it was honestly part 2 was so good. Loved it. So I figured I should probably buy the book. And look how floppy it is. It's so nice. It does have one of those fake real stickers. So that's annoying, but whatever. So I want to read at least the first one before I decide if I want to read any more of them, because there are 6 books that Frank Herbert himself wrote. And those are considered like the Dune Messiah books. And you can read it as like the 3 books, or the 6 as the whole. And then his son, Brian Herbert, and let me check my notes. Kevin J. Anderson wrote 17 more within that universe. So there's so many ways you can read it, because you can read it in the chronological order of like the way things happen in this book. And if you read it that way, this book actually comes in towards the middle, I believe, if I remember correctly. My other books are rolling on me. The publication dates, and that's whenever the Dune series would be there, and also just like as set series, because each one can be read as its own little series. You don't necessarily have to know what is going on in each grouping, is what I read, because there's like 17 books, but each one's like a duology, a series of 3 or 6 or however many. So that was interesting. This has been on my list for a while. I will probably just take it very slow, like I've been taking the Wheel of Time, because little words, but I just floppy. Just love me a floppy book. Give me a floppy book. A fun smutty book I picked up is The Storm of Shadows by Christina Dodd. Now, the reason I bought this is because I love a good smutty, silly romance novel, because, you know, you don't always have to read really serious things to find enjoyment. I tend to get burned out on fantasy if I just read strictly like high fantasy stuff, so I'd love to throw in like some paranormal romances, some easy cozy mysteries, just to kind of keep it entertaining, or I'll even read a lot of nonfiction, depending on like what I'm kind of in the mood in. When the world was young, twins were born. One brought light to a dark world, the other darkness and danger. They gathered others around them, men and women, destined to use their powerful gifts for good or evil. Today, their descendants walk the earth as the chosen, and the ultimate battle has begun. And this is like, I think, going to be a solid romance, because, you know, we got that shirtless man with a tattoo on the back that looks, I don't know, to me it kind of looks kind of like one of those fake stickers, fake tattoos that you stick on, get wet. That's what it looks like to me, but hey, whatever. It'll probably be a really great time. But yeah, that's a little bit. I mean, this is, I don't know, there's probably like multiple to it. I don't know what the spice level is. We'll see. one that just kind of jumped out at me whenever I was just kind of meandering around was this one, and it's The Girl Who Saved the King of Sweden by Jonasson. And this sounds hilarious. I was reading the inside cover, and I'll read it to you guys in a second, and it looked so funny. Let's see. In a tiny shack in the largest township in South Africa, Nobiko Mayake is born. Put to work at 5 years old and then orphaned at 10, she quickly learns the world expects nothing more than her than to die young, be it from drugs, alcohol, or plain despair. But Nobiko has grander plans. She learns to read and write, and at just 15, using her cunning and fearlessness, she makes it out of the Swato with millions of smuggled diamonds in her possession. Then things take a turn for the worse. Nobika ends up a prisoner in the incompetent engineer in a research facility working on South Africa's secret nuclear arsenal. Yet the unstoppable Nobiko pulls off a daring escape to Sweden, where she meets twins named Holger 1 and Holger 2. They are carrying out a mission to bring down the Swedish monarchy by any means necessary. Nobiko's life becomes hopelessly intertwined with the twins, and when the twins arrange to kidnap the Swedish king and the prime minister, it is up to our unlikely heroine to save the day, and possibly the world. In this wild romp, Johnson tackles issues ranging from the pervasiveness of racism to the dangers of absolute power, while telling a charming and hilarious story along the way. It's a satirical voice. It seems really good. I will probably end up giving this to my mother whenever I'm done with it, or a friend, because I think she would really like it. She likes a lot of that satire, so this was good. Also, floppy book, which always makes my day, apparently. I'm a child. And one other is Seawitch by Kat Richardson. It is a paranormal detective book. This is not the first in the series. I think this is the type of books where there is like the first in a series where you learn more and you can read them in order, but if you just like pick one up, like I did, you're probably going to be able to figure out what's going on pretty quick, because usually these type of books are, each one can be read by itself to some extent, which is something I appreciate whenever I just am meandering around in a used bookstore and you never know what you're going to get. Harper Blaine was your average small-time PI until she died for 2 minutes. Now Harper is a gray walker, treading the thin line between the living world and the paranormal realm, and she's discovering that her new abilities has landing her all sorts of strange cases. Quarter of a century ago, the Seawitch cruised away from her dog and disappeared with everyone on board. Now the boat has mysteriously returned to her old berth in Seattle, and the insurance company has hired Harper to find out. So 25 years ago, but you know, a quarter of a century sounds so much better than 25 years ago. But Harper isn't the only one investigating. Seattle Police Detective Ray Solis is a good cop, a bit one who isn't comfortable with the creepy cases that always seem to end up in Harper's lap. As they explore the abandoned vessel, Harper and Solis discover a cabin containing symbols drawn in human blood that reveal this ghost ship's history. As Solis focuses on the possible murder of a passenger's wife, Harper's investigation leads her to a powerful being who may be responsible for the disappearance of the Seawitch's passengers and crew. And while their searches lead Harper and Solis in separate directions, they will need to be put aside their differences to solve the mystery of a 25 years in the making. But yeah, that seems pretty good. Don't know when I'm gonna read it. Obviously, I just kind of picked up a bunch of books. Hopefully I can get to them relatively soon. But that's this one. I got one more. And The Diviners by Libba Bray. I've been wanting to read this one for a while. It's somebody that I really have found. Emma Brooks books. Cannot remember her name. She's an older, she's been on the platform for a while doing lots of booktube videos, and that is kind of my little inspiration of actually trying to do booktube and reading. So this is one that she's really enjoyed. It is set in 1926 and it follows Evie, who has some supernatural abilities, through the world of New York City speakeasies, flatburgers, stuff like that. I think I'm just gonna love the vibes. I'm very excited for it. Evie O'Neill has been exiled from her boring old hometown and shipped to the bustling streets of New York City. And she is positively ecstatic. Yeah, that was, my brain wants to say prostitute, but that is not it. Anyways, it's 1926 and New York is filled with speakeasies, Ziegfeld girls, and rakish pickpockets. The only catch is that she has to live with her Uncle Will and his unhealthy obsession with the occult. She has an uncle, we have aunts, you know, it's pretty similar. Evie worries he'll discover her darkest secret, a supernatural power that has only brought her trouble so far. But when the police call Will to the crime scene of a murdered girl branded with a cryptic symbol, Evie realizes her gift could help catch a serial killer. So I'm really excited for it. It's a pretty hefty book. Anyways, I honestly think it's going to be really good. It's, again, that paranormal mystery, which is kind of apparently the vibe right now, is a little bit with the Seawitch and all that. And I think that's it. I got stickers. I got 2 stickers. Cannot have a good one. So there is this one, and it says, I shall be miserable if I have not an excellent library. Jane Austen. Love it. And then I went to the Burning Owl books. I got really cute stickers, so I'm gonna put those on my cup. If you guys really enjoyed it, or if you've read any of these books and you've enjoyed those in particular, comment down below which one you think I should start with, because I'm definitely open to suggestions. Alright, so thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.